This is the best you could do. This is the best WWE could do. After one of the greatest pay-per-views of all fucking time, that's the best you could do. Not only did they fuck up a tag team turmoil, but they fucked up a tag team turmoil because Mason T-Bar had to throw a bitch fit because the New Day, who, for whatever reason, WWE has to remind you how good the New Day are by beating thrown together tag teams or useless tag teams and get all the way to the end, only to get beat towards the end against Bobby Lashley and MVP. But you just booked so badly. And Vince McMahon, according to reports, Vince McMahon was not in attendance for this show tonight. So why in the blue fucking hell is this show this goddamn bad? Oh, that's right. Bruce Pritchard is in charge. This is what you get for Bruce Pritchard in charge. A shitty episode of Monday Night Raw. You just got shown up last night. Not even if Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson didn't show up and it was just Minoru Suzuki and Ruby Soho, and that was it. You saved the other two for other places like Grand Slam or whatever else. That was a damn good pay-per-view, even with the additions. That before Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole came out. If the show would have ended with the Elites doing a goodbye, good night, bang, and the show goes off the air, I'd be like, that's a damn good pay-per-view. But just adding Cole and Bryan Danielson at the same time, which in my opinion is just a little too much at the same time. You should have spaced it out, but I'm not going to complain because AEW knows what the fuck they're doing. I have more faith in Tony Khan than I have ever had in Vince McMahon. And if you watched the scrums last night, Adam Cole was there, Ruby Soho was there, Bryan Danielson was there, CM Punk was giving his first thoughts after his first match in 7.5 years. And you just see, after every one of these guys, men and Ruby, get done talking, Tony was there on the side after a few minutes of CM Punk talking, and he gets up, they both get up, and Tony Khan gives each and every one of them a hug. Because he is just so happy to have this great talent under his wing, in his company, and ready to go out there and give you a great fucking product week in and week out with quarterly pay-per-views and starting next year specials that are going to be on TNT in the quarter 2. So last night, it's like, why did I even watch this show? I could have just sat here, watched a bunch of Kamen Riders or a bunch of other shows or whatever the fuck I want and had a much more enjoyable time than what the hell this was. Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. One of those on the face of Damian Priest at Extreme Rules. We've seen that match multiple fucking times. Why did the New Day have to be the team, the Iron Man team of the tag team turmoil? When you could have given that to the Viking Raiders, you could have given that to Mansoor and Ali. You could have given that to literally anybody else. But no, WWE has to show that when it comes to the tag team division on Monday Night Raw, we only care about the New Day. Are you kidding me with this? And on top of that, having the guys get beat by, like, they beat Mason T-Bar, and then Mason T-Bar go, well, we should have won this, so we're going to bitch and fit, we're going to beat up on the New Day, we're going to beat up on Mansoor and Ali as they come in because Mansoor wants to do the right thing. I'm a goody two-shoes. It's like, dude, I don't care if you're a babyface or not. You're a small dude. These two big burly dudes are going to come in there and they're going to kick your ass. Why the fuck are you bothering them? Let them do their thing. You will be able to get what you need to at a later time. Calm it down, Mansoor. Calm it down. So, both of those teams got absolutely destroyed. So, we had to deal with having the last few entrants of this tag team turmoil take up the remainder of the show because WWE pretty much told you we don't have a good enough main event to have an actual good main event. We had to do this tag team turmoil. On top of that, the 7 teams that were added was not enough, so we have to add the world champion Bobby Lashley and his partner MVP into this to just go with what you got. Terrible. Just fucking terrible. We also got a couple matches named for Extreme Rules outside of the United States Championship match. And we got another awful match between Nia Jax and Charlotte Bot 9000. With, it looks like finally the disintegration of the tag team of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, because Shayna Baszler practically, and everyone said it, screwed her partner out of the Raw Women's Championship. So, and get this. Nikki Trash, Nikki whatever you want to call her, and Rhea Ripley got a Champions Contenders match for the women's tag team titles. One problem. Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart have won 2 championship contenders matches and have yet to get a title match. Wasn't there another duo in the women's division winning a championship contenders match on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown? And they haven't got their women's tag team title match either. What the fuck is going on here? How are you doing multiple championship contenders matches for multiple multiple teams or multiple single stars in a single title case, when you haven't even got the championship contenders who won the team that won the last championship contenders their title match? On top of that, Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart have won not 1 but 2, and have yet to get a title match. And they don't talk about it. Where the hell is Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox on SmackDown anyway? They've disappeared. They win one, they disappear. They come back, they have another Champions Contenders match, they win it, and then they disappear. How is anybody supposed to remember, unless you're somebody who actually has a brain, that this team has won not 1 but 2? It's fucking ridiculous. More 24/7 bullshit and the damn near burial of John Morrison. Hey, remember how John Morrison was beaten down by The Miz 2 weeks ago? And last week they were supposed to have a match, but Miz just up and disappeared. Well, apparently he's on Dancing with the Stars. So we won't see The Miz until he is either eliminated, probably early on, or because it doesn't start until September, the end of September. I think it's like September 30th or something. So he's off in Hollywood getting prepared, taking some lessons, dancing a little bit. So we all thought, oh great, Vince turned on Morrison. Morrison's gonna finally get a shot to be a good babyface, a mid-card champion, maybe even eventually challenge for the world title. No. You got a bona fide potential main eventer in John Morrison, and this guy got destroyed by Omos last week and destroyed by Karrion Kross this week. And I wonder why Becky Lynch wanted to turn heel, because you see how WWE treats the babyfaces in this company. Dumb, blithering idiots. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? This company doesn't care. You showed up last night, one of the greatest pay-per-views of this generation, if not the last 2 generations, and it's not fair. You can't really compare. I'm going to say this now. You cannot compare a quality of a pay-per-view from 2021 to like the 80s or 90s, because it was a different style back then. The wrestling landscape has evolved over the last 20 or 30 years. I'm not going to sit there and say that this is the greatest pay-per-view of all time last night, but it's the greatest pay-per-view of this generation, for sure. I mean, I would put that up there with any pay-per-view AEW's done, any of the WWE pay-per-views over the last 10, 15 years. But I'm not going to sit there and go, well, is this as great as WrestleMania 17 X7? I'm not going to compare that, because that's a different generation of professional wrestling. It's like WrestleMania X7 is the greatest WrestleMania, and people still hold it up as the greatest WrestleMania. And that was the early 2000s, like way early 2000s. That's 20 years ago. I'm not going to compare a pay-per-view from 20 years ago to a pay-per-view now and try and see if they hold up against each other, because the fan base was different in 2001 compared to the fan base in 2021. Just leave it at that. But WWE could have done something tonight to show their fans that they fucking still care. AEW continues every single fucking week and every quarter to show you they fucking care. They listen to the fans. They listen and make adjustments. They listen and give you matches you want. Give you stipulations that you want to see. Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros. How is WWE ever going to top that? Spoiler alert, they can't. Because they don't care about tag team wrestling. Vince McMahon hates tag team wrestling. There are many people who come out and said this. Dr. Tom Pritchard has come out and said Vince McMahon sees no money in tag team wrestling. I'm sorry, did you see the Lucha Bros last night and the Young Bucks? I guarantee people paid their ticket to see that match. And of course, this is how good AEW is. That pay-per-view last night, that was sold out months before. With no matches. CM Punk wasn't even in the company yet. There weren't even rumors of Bryan Danielson or CM Punk coming to the company when those tickets went on sale and those tickets were sold out. WWE has not had that kind of popularity in well over a decade. They even had to bring John Cena back just to get people to come into the building between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. The entire show just fucking sucks. The product sucks. We had that escape from WWE main roster for the longest time, for at least 4 or 5 years. And that was NXT. And of course, because WWE is petty as fuck and they couldn't keep the new kids down, Vince McMahon says, well, we gotta rebrand and do something new with NXT. Instead of letting Triple H do what he was doing, having NXT on the WWE Network at 1 hour, taped 4 weeks in advance, taped a month of TV in advance in one night. No, couldn't do that. No, we can't do that. We have to go and just ruin that, take it all, and destroy it. And Vince McMahon is going to go out there and make NXT just awful. Absolutely awful. So, WWE, you gave us a shitty-ass show tonight with a typical finish to the show. But this company just doesn't care. Like, how could you sit there and watch this show tonight? If you watched last night's show, and if you haven't, what the fuck are you doing with your life? If you watched last night's show and then you come in here and watch Monday Night Raw, it doesn't even feel right. It doesn't even feel worth watching. And WWE showed you, yeah, our product is not worth watching. What can I say? Tomorrow night I'm going to get into the review, but tomorrow is going to be a special video as we are going to eulogize NXT as we knew it before the rebrand hits next week, but that is going to be something to look forward to tomorrow. Let's get into this shitty-ass review. So, okay, bro, come out. I don't give a shit what here's the thing about Matt Riddle. I love what Matt Riddle does in between the ropes. I do not give a shit what this guy says outside when he has the microphone in his hand. I have to tune it out because this guy I don't know what he's saying half the fucking time. But, yeah. So we see what happened last week between Orton and Matt Riddle with the RKO out of nowhere after the match was over. Orton takes the mic and says MVP and Lashley tried to take the titles last week, but they failed miserably. He says they failed because Lashley is nothing but a greedy son of a bitch. He says he and Riddle are going to look at the 7 tag team champion tag teams competing tonight and see which of those be defeated next. Matt Riddle says some stuff, can't understand half of what he's saying with some annoying ass comedy. Out comes Lashley and MVP. MVP tells Riddle to shut his dumb ass up. They enter the ring and says Orton's action was that of a coward last Monday. Lashley can't believe they were out here talking about tag teams after what happened last week. Lashley wants to finish what they started. He goes on and Orton asks if he's being challenged. Lashley says he's challenging Orton to a one-on-one match. Orton says, you know what? Last week I started to think about maybe it's been 10 or 15 years since they faced each other in the ring. And he brings up Lashley's double champion talk from last week and says he will accept the challenge under one condition. When they fight, Lashley must put the WWE title on the line. Fans go crazy. MVP interrupts and proposes a WWE title match at Extreme Rules. Lashley says he is a greedy son of a bitch, like you said. So they're going to talk to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville to get put into this tag team turmoil so he can become a double champion, just like Orton would be. Said he would be. They have some more words, and out comes the New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods now being back. Kofi, of course, rocking the outsider gear as Kofi Kingston is Kevin Nash, and as we know, Xavier Woods is Scott Hall. So, nice little cosplay there. I'm sure the outsiders, Nash and Hall, are thumbs up on that, but who cares? Xavier Woods, Kofi takes the mic and talks about kicking the tag team turmoil off right now. Woods doesn't care if the odds are against them. They were when they beat Lashley a few weeks back. Out comes the Viking Raiders, and that is your first match. Tag team turmoil, the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. Then we will have Lucha House Party, Mustafa Ali, and Mansoor, Mace, T-Bar, Jinder, Bia, AJ, and Omos before we get to anything else. And eventually, MVP and Lashley get added too. Out come the Viking Raiders, back from break, and we have ourselves a match here. And you knew it was bad. You knew how bad this was going to be when the Viking Raiders came. And the New Day won most, if not all, of their matches by the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling, and all in sports entertainment, because this is not professional wrestling. This company has not been professional wrestling in over 30 years. This has been sports entertainment, which is why on my review for AEW last night I said All Out, that AEW is the #1 professional wrestling company in the world, because they're professional wrestling. This is not professional wrestling. This is shitty ass sports entertainment. So they have themselves about a 5-minute match here when the New Day gets the roll up, and that is that. So they get the win. I'm sorry, wrong. Kofi Kingston hits Trouble in Paradise. On Ivar gets the pin. Outcome, Jinder Mahal and Veer. And anybody thought the New Day was going to lose to Jinder fucking Mahal and Veer, you on drugs. Like, seriously, you are on fucking drugs. This match doesn't go, this part of the match doesn't go along at all. New Day, of course, win. Once again, they survive, as everyone knew they were going to. Out come the Lucha House Party, and I'm like, wow, New Day could do something by giving these guys something. But no, of course, New Day win again. They come up again, barely winning, but they win. Then out come Mace and T-Bar, who basically bludgeoned the fucking shit out of these guys. They beat the shit out of them. And they're going to go for a finish. Xavier Woods somehow, someway gets a roll up. Oh, he was going to go, that's right. T-Bar was going to go for the Feast Your Eyes. Woods counters, rolls him up, 1, 2, 3. They're eliminated. Fans boo as Mace and T-Bar line up the attack after the bell. Mace with a running assist. They just beat the shit out of Kofi and Xavier Woods, leaving them for dead. Out come Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, who pretty much have a chance to just easily lick the bones if they back up and let Mace and T-Bar have their fucking way. But no, what do they do? Well, of course, Ali tries to prevent this from happening. But no. He gets in there and just gets his ass kicked. Ali eventually gets beat up too. Mace and T-Bar just throwing the bitches of bitch fits because they couldn't get the job done. They destroy Mace. They destroy all 4 guys. We go to commercial break. We come back. It turns out that we're going to finish this match tonight, but we're going to let these 4 guys have some rest. And we'll see them with at least 30 minutes left in the show, as we will have that be the main event. The remainder of this match is going to be these matches are going to be the main event. Good fucking grief. And yes, Bobby Lashley and MVP were added. We go to the ring again, and out comes Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. If you've seen Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus once, you've seen it 1,000 times. These guys, yes, it's great to see two guys beat the living fuck out of each other, but how many fucking times in a year are we going to see Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre? It's one of the reasons why I don't really want to go to a house show, especially WWE type house show, because you have Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre on Monday. Well, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to have Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre again and again and again. So it's like, I'm going to go to a house show. If AEW does another house show, I would go to that. Why? Because they're going to give you matches you haven't seen. Why? Because they can. WWE, it's like, well, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley is going to be facing Randy Orton at Extreme Rules. That's already been decided. So, why not, leading up to that, every single house show they go to, it's going to be Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Most likely, most of those ending in disqualification or some kind of count out or whatever. Or better yet, they're going to do tag team matches with MVP and Lashley versus the RK Bros for the rest of the fucking month leading up to Extreme Rules. Oh, boring. Moving on. So it was a big boy fight. They beat the living shit out of each other. Drew ends up taking Sheamus' mask off and delivering a big boot to the face as Sheamus bleeds from his knees. Drew charges with the Claymore, but Sheamus sidesteps him, rolls him up with the hand of tights. 1, 2, 3, and he is the new #1 contender. So yes, Sheamus got the win by nefarious means. And then Drew McIntyre, the babyface, gets pissed off. He has Sheamus' mask in his hand. Instead of just laughing it off and throwing it at him, he takes it, smacks him in the head with it, hits the Claymore, and that's that. So, Drew McIntyre, the babyface, is a sore loser. Not a good look. This guy's supposed to be one of the top baby faces in your company. And wow, just wow. Priest is backstage, it's Kevin Patrick, and is laughing at what happened to Sheamus. Priest says he's seen a lot of matches and fights in his life. That was a fight, and that's why he likes squaring up with those guys, because they can go. He expects no less from Sheamus than Extreme Rules, but he knows something Sheamus doesn't. I got Sheamus' number, and Extreme Rules will end with Sheamus on his back. Sarah Chavez stops Rhea Ripley and Nikki Trash backstage, and they're warming up. They talk about possibly getting on the same page tonight and possibly getting a win for the women's tag team titles. But Ripley is hesitant. It sounds like Nikki wants the name to be Super Brutality. Why the fuck not? It's not the worst name I've heard. Ripley remains hesitant, but Nikki is very excited as she heads off to the stage. It looks like tonight's match is not for the title, because it's not. It is a championship contenders match. Again, Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart made their debut right at the tail end of the Thunderdome era. I think it was like 2 weeks before. It was 2 weeks before Money in the Bank. It was the week that Bayley got injured. It was the week after Bayley got injured. And they came up. They faced the women's tag team titles, non-title match, no contenders match yet. I don't think the contenders match thing happened until the next week. They won. The next week, they faced the tag team champions in a #1 in a championship contenders match. They won again. Then they didn't have another match for a good fucking while. The last time we saw them was when they shot the the torpedo into Baron Corbin's dick and balls, knocking him over when he was still a disheveled version, old version of himself. And then they came back a couple weeks later, had another championship contenders match. Guess what? They won again. And here they are now. The championship contenders matches for Rhea Ripley and Nikki Trash. By the way, I know Mandy Rose is on NXT now, but didn't she and Dana Brooke also win a championship contenders match before she was shipped off to NXT? What the fuck happened there? How many teams are supposed to win championship contenders match before we actually see these women defend the tag team titles? They haven't defended the tag team titles in what feels like fucking months. But here you go again. We have this match. Natalya and Tamina lose again because Rhea tags in without Natalya seeing that she did. She goes to put the sharpshooter on Nikki, who is not the legal person. Rhea hits her with the Riptide, 1, 2, 3, and of course, Nikki and Rhea Ripley win. Man, it must be nice being related to The Rock or close association with The Rock's family. Because who got pinned in this match wasn't Tamina. Can't make any of The Rock's sibling family or like second family getting beat on WWE television, because why? WWE has this fear that if Nia Jax looks weak, if Tamina looks weak, if the Usos or Roman look weak, The Rock's not going to want to have anything to do with WWE. They are handicapping this women's division and other divisions because everything has to go with the NOI way. They have to make them win everything. Natalya and Tamina haven't had a title match in forever, probably because they want to make Tamina and Natalya look big for The Rock. So, hey Rock, come back please. Look at your cousins. Look at your second family. Look at them. They're all doing good. Most of them are champions. They're not losing. If they're on tag teams, they're not the ones being pinned. They're not the ones submitting. Their teammates look stupid while they look bad. It's like, this is fucking ridiculous. Get the title. I want these women's tag team titles erased from history. They are just a waste of fucking time. You would have been better off giving the women a secondary title like a women's Intercontinental Championship or a women's United States Championship. Give them a second title. Why? You have an overabundant amount of women who don't need to fucking be in tag teams that you don't want to give the women's championship to, because on Raw it's Charlotte and whoever the fuck they want Charlotte to go against. And on SmackDown, it's mostly the 4 horsewomen and person they want to give 15 minutes of fame to as well. So you could have a Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, or Carmella fighting for a Women's United States Championship or a Women's Intercontinental Championship, giving them something to fucking do other than being perennial losers who are never going to get the Women's Championship. It's not that hard. It's just like the men. You give them a Women's Championship, you give them a Women's U.S. Championship on SmackDown, on Raw, a Women's Championship on SmackDown, a Women's Intercontinental Championship. I would be fine with that because you give the women more things to do. Is it too many titles? Obviously, WWE has too many titles as it is. If you were to merge everything, then the women get the Women's Championship and the Women's U.S. Championship or the Women's Intercontinental Championship. There is nothing wrong. Or give them something that's else. Like the Women's Championship and... Shit, let me think here. The women... I don't know what you would call it, but a women's secondary title, because it would be way more... It would be looked at as more important than the tag team titles, which WWE clearly doesn't give a shit about. The only reason the tag team titles exist in the first place is because Vince McMahon got tired of Sasha Banks and Bayley pleading with him to give them a women's tag team titles. Because he's like, fine, damn it, you can have them. Then they leave and he's like, we're not going to do shit with those titles. They might have them. And it's like, why would Bayley, Sasha Banks, or any other woman go and try and beg Vince McMahon to give them tag team titles and expect anything out of them? Do you not know this man's track record with tag teams since the mid-2000s? They don't give a shit about tag team wrestling, so why would they give a shit about the women's tag team wrestling? It just makes no fucking sense why anybody thought that Vince McMahon would actually give these titles any fucking meaning. I mean, Bayley and Sasha Banks' first title run had promise, and then you gave them to a joke tag team like the Moronics. Then they lost them to... Let me guess. If I'm correct. It was Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, or it was Asuka and Kairi Sane. let me get this right because I'm losing my mind here. It was Bliss and Cross. Okay, yeah, it was Bliss and Cross. Because, yeah. And honestly, that was the best thing Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss ever did. Then he went to Asuka and Kairi Sane, who honestly think had the best. They still have the best run with the tag team titles. But yeah, and they didn't do shit with them. They still haven't done much with these titles since then. It's just so stupid. It's just so fucking stupid. How much WWE has, like, you have these titles, you have a lot of talented women on these rosters, but you don't have actual teams. You took Ember Moon, tag team partner from in NXT up, and brought her up with Tegan Nox for some reason. And then you had until she got fired, you had Lana and Naomi put together, which made no fucking sense. At least Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose were a viable, looked like a tag team. Oh, that's right. You sent Natalya down to NXT, and we haven't seen Dana Brooke since then. Unless I missed something somewhere and she got fired, I just don't have a clue on that. But now it's Natalya and Tamina. They've held them since May 14th. And they haven't done shit with them. They lose all the goddamn time. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler's second title reign, they lost. Well, I'm sorry, Shayna Baszler lost non-title matches all the goddamn time. It's like, why the fuck should I care about these titles? I can't. I just fucking can't. It's just so ridiculous. So, after that, they celebrate. We go backstage, and we have a backstage skit version of Moist TV. With John Morrison having Karrion Kross wearing a suit. At least he cleans up nice, I will say that. Karrion Kross still rocking those suits. I wonder how long that's going to last. I mean, I still find it hilarious how this guy is supposed to be, isn't marketable just being a dude who looks like a fucking statue. If he stood still, you would, and if you painted this guy gray and had him stand still, he would look like a fucking statue. Yet he has to wear suspenders and a mask that looks like he stole it from, who do I want to say? He stole it from Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Would you have Randy Orton, who is an old, who, like Karrion Kross, looks like a younger version when it comes to physique? Would you have Randy Orton come out wearing suspenders or a helmet? Most likely in 2021. Randy Orton was lucky to get debut in 2002 when WWE wasn't this fucked up with changing and making everybody marketable. If you can't make this guy marketable just how he is, he looks fucking great. Okay, on the mic, I can say that. But just, how do you have to add something? How is he not marketable the way he is? Makes no sense to me. Scarlett, bring Scarlett back to him. That's all he needs. You just need to have this guy standing there with the hot wife beside him. And there's your marketability. There was no reason for the suspenders. No reason for that shitty-ass ugly helmet. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. This guy is just ruined on the main roster. And hopefully this, I know when you come to the main roster, you sign a new deal, so he's going to be locked in WWE for at least 3 years. But I wonder how long, I'm sure he has that TikTok looking, and like, hoping that when the budget cuts come, he's the first one out. Because they ain't going to do shit with him. He's already been brandished as just another guy. If he was anything important to WWE, the guy wouldn't have lost in less than 2 minutes on his first night on the main roster, while he was still NXT champion, mind you. That would have never happened. But here we are. Morrison bugs the hell out of him, asks him a bunch of stupid questions. He's like, I'll give you your answers in the ring, and I teach you how to fall and pray. So we go to that match. Karrion Kross still looks fucking stupid. Give me Scarlett by this, like, just give him Scarlett back. This guy needs his whooping. If Scarlett ever does join him, because what's the point of having Scarlett in WWE if she's not going to be paired with her husband? Because she's not worth anything else. There is nothing else that Scarlett can do that's worth a damn besides being his valet. That is what she was put on in this company for. She was hired in NXT to be a valet. She is not a fucking professional wrestler. She is born and bred to be a valet. Get that woman back on TV. Get rid of suspenders, get rid of the fucking helmet, and you got yourself one marketable deal. So, Morrison gets his ass kicked. It doesn't last very long. He gets put in the crotch jacket. Nothing else. Well, I gotta say is that since they put the helmet and suspenders on him, they've been booking him the way they should have been from day one. Going in there against lesser opponents, killing them in less than a few minutes. That's how you get the guy over. Take the suspenders and take the helmet off. This guy will be over in no time. But no. We gotta have a helmet. We gotta be marketable. Time for what nobody wants to see. Showbot 9000 takes on Nia Jax. We get a video package of what happened last week. Let's not talk about that. So, before the match even starts, Shayna Baszler gets on the apron and says, hey, look, listen, champ. I kind of agree with you that my apron shouldn't be able to beat you twice, but I know I can. Now, the real question is, will Nia Jax become the champion or will she choke? With friends like those, I wouldn't want to have any friends, just saying. Flair attacks Jax from her off the corner despite the distraction from Baszler. Jax with a cheap shot on Sheen. Flair brawls with hands full of hair and face with the referee between them. The referee brings them together in the middle of the ring to attempt to restore things. They argue. Flair taunts Jax and rolls to the floor, and fans boo and cheer. Flair has a few words with Shayna as she's trying to leave. Jax grabs her by the hair and tells her to kiss her ass. Flair takes the title and goes to leave, but stops and argues with Baszler. He grabs her hair again from the ring and tries to pull her in, but Flair hangs her on the top rope. Bathroom break, and Jax is down on the outside against the bear in the ringside. Flair climbs to the top and delivers her shitty-ass moonsault, taking Jax back down for a pop. Baszler gets in front of Jax to block her from attacking. Jax goes on past her and looks for a powerbomb on Flair, but Flair slides out and rolls her for a 2 count. Jax sends her into the corner and then nails a running splash in the corner. Jax takes Flair to the top for a superplex, but Baszler distracts her from the apron, yelling at her. The distraction allows Flair to deliver a super natural selection for the pin and the win. And for the first time, it feels like in forever, Nia Jax eats a pinfall. Holy shit, I thought it wasn't possible. I thought if they were going to have Nia Jax lose, it was going to be by count out or disqualification. Flair raises the title. Bliss appears on the big screen. By the way, Shayna Baszler walked away through the crowd, through that back area around the timekeeper's area, and Jax follows. Sitting on his swing, Alexa Bliss with Lily says, now that Flair is done fighting, it's time for some fun. And she invites Flair to Alexa's playground. She wants Flair, and Bliss says Lily wants to bring Flair to bring one of her shiny robes so she can try it on. Flair says that's cute, but she's the queen. She doesn't do cute. Oh, I'm sorry. I did that wrong. That's cute, but I'm the queen. I don't do cute, and I'm not interested in the mind game, so I'm not coming to the playground. Bliss says that's too bad because Billy has a lot of pent-up energy tonight. Do you have any idea what it's like to be stuck somewhere with an egomaniacal maniac? Of course you do. You're a Flair. That was kind of funny. Bliss says if the Showbot won't come to me, then I'll come to you. Lights start to flicker. Some creepy nursery rhyme music starts up. The lights go out. The lights come back on. She is standing behind the Showbot, lily in hand. She laughs Starbucks slowly turns around, seeing her staring at her. She says, "Obviously, you want something. So what is it?" Bliss simply points at the women's championship. She's like, "You want a title match? Fine. But this ring isn't your playground. It's mine." They stare each other down. Starbucks music picks up. She leaves, and Bliss has a smile on her face. Here's the thing about Bliss. Fans love and care about the wrestler Alexa Bliss. They just don't care about the magic bullshit. When she wrestles an actual match, when she actually wrestles, people cheer, people care. When she pointed to the title, there were yes chants. By the way, the yes chant has been bigger than Bryan Danielson / Daniel Bryan for about 5 years. About 6 months after he started doing it, it became bigger than him. So, big yes chants. The yes chants are pretty much just like the what chant. They're just ingrained in professional wrestling and other sports as well. So anybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're still doing the yes chants with Bryan Danielson and AEW." It doesn't matter. The yes chants are bigger than Bryan Danielson. So that match will probably happen in Extreme Rules. There'll probably be some kind of playground match. I really don't care. Let Alexa Bliss just wrestle as Alexa Bliss and kill this goddamn creepy ass gimmick. It ran its course the day she turned her back on the Fiend. Just saying. This hour versus Reggie for the 24/7 I-95 7-Eleven Eurocontinental Championship. Don't really care. The match was nothing. Don't care. Reggie wins. But it's after the match. Here comes R-Truth. Reggie gets the upper hand. Umberto Carrillo runs down, but Reggie gets the best of him. Shelton Benjamin, Drew Gulak, Jackson Laker, and Jeff Hardy. Yes. Legend, professional wrestling legend, and charismatic enigma, former WWE champion, Jeff Hardy, is chasing this championship now. This is the best you got for one of the best wrestlers you have ever had in this goddamn company? Are you kidding me? Former WWE, former two-time World Heavyweight Champion, former multi-time Tag Team Champion, former multiple-time Intercontinental and United States Champion, won every single fucking championship in the Attitude Era that he could possibly win. Up to now, the only championship Jeff Hardy has not won is the Universal Championship. Jeff Hardy has won every single championship, from Light Heavyweight Championship to WWE Championship to Raw SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Intercontinental, European, Hardcore, every championship but the Universal title. And you have this guy running after the 24/7 championship. How disgraceful of WWE to have such a legend like this guy running after a joke championship. If you can't find anything for Jeff Hardy, give him his fucking release, and in 90 days he'll be in AEW wrestling with his brother, probably doing another Hardy Boys reunion. Let this guy go. If you ain't got nothing for Jeff Hardy, let him go, because you're just wasting his fucking time. The last year or so of his career should not be wasted running after a joke title like the 24/7 championship. Fuck you, Vince McMahon. Fuck you, Bruce Pritchard. Fuck you, John Laurinaitis, and everybody else who thinks this is acceptable. You've got to be fucking kidding me. This is what you have for one of the greats. I'm not surprised that WWE would do this, but it's WWE. This is what they do. Jeff Hardy is one of two people to win the Grand Slam championship, but be a Grand Slam champion in both formats. Again, Jeff Hardy won every single championship in the original format, and that includes the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Tag Team titles, the Raw Tag Team titles, which were the WWE titles back in 2002 to 2010, or 2014, the Intercontinental, the European, and the Hardcore title. He won every single one of those titles. Now you come down to the other one, he has every single championship but the Universal title. Jeff Hardy is the most decorated champion in WWE history when it comes to different championships that he has won. He is the only guy to do this. If I'm correct, let me see here. Yeah, he's the only guy to do this. Chris Jericho is right behind him, only missing out on the Universal and the SmackDown Tag Team titles. We know that's never going to fucking happen again, but the only guy to do that. He should be treated much better than he's being treated by WWE. If this is all you have for Jeff Hardy, let him go. Release him. You're not going to do anything with him. That spot can be taken up by literally anybody else. You're making all these fucking cuts to the WWE and their roster. Let Jeff Hardy go. Just let him go and don't even fucking think twice about it. How fucking pathetic of this company. How pathetic. Ugh. Just, that angers the fuck out of me. We hear from Piper Niven about what happened last week. Kevin Patrick talks to her, noting that Eva isn't here tonight. She says Karma has a funny way of coming back around for Eva. She brags about taking Eva out last week and calls her a bunch of names, saying she isn't surprised the talentless Eva Marie couldn't make it tonight. She says she isn't finished yet with Eva just yet, and Karma is just beginning to come around on Eva. Challenges to a rematch next week. It says if you thought last week's beatdown was brutal, wait until next Monday because it will be unforgettable. And says Eva tormented her for months, claiming it was all part of the evolution, but it was all part of the Eva delusion. And yeah, that is that. You know, I swear that this promo that she cut tonight was WWE seeing what everyone says on Eva Marie online and go, yeah, we'll just use that. We'll use that. We'll have Piper Niven go out there because I refuse to call her anything else. I'm not going to call her that derogatory name, but yeah, I totally see her doing that. So, Tag Team Turmoil resumes with Mustafa Ali and Mansoor taking on the New Day. Once again, New Day get past Ali and Mansoor because of course they do. AJ Styles and Omos then get past New Day because of course they do. Which I thought this was really obvious because the AJ and Omos was a New Day match went damn near towards the end of the show. There was like maybe 5 minutes 5 minutes left when this ended. What I thought was going to happen is what happened to AJ Styles a couple of years ago when they did a gauntlet match. I think it was for the final spot for who would be number 6. Yeah, who was going to be number 6 in the Elimination Chamber, where AJ Styles battled all the way through, only get hit with an RKO just as SmackDown was going off the air and getting pinned. I thought they were going to have the New Day beat these guys. And then Bobby Lashley's music hits, he comes in, puts on the Hurt Lock, and just wins like that. That, of course, didn't happen. And by the way, I guess Bobby Lashley's supposed to be the babyface in this encounter here because Bobby Lashley was getting cheers as he took on AJ Styles and Omos. So, okay. MVP and Bobby Lashley end up winning this match. Of course they were going to. The moment they said that they were going to get added into this match, you knew who was going to fucking win this. So Omos takes Bobby Lashley after the match, drives him into the mat with a two-handed chokeslam. Omos picks AJ up and carries him up the ramp for the referee check on Lashley, who's already getting back up to his feet. Lashley gets back up, but Orton comes behind, levels him with an RKO out of nowhere. To a big pop, Orton stands tall and raises the WWE title in the air, and his music hits. Lashley and MVP versus RK Bros is confirmed for next Monday. That was something else that told you who was going to win this match, because it's going to be Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules. Why the fuck would you have the tag team title match and the WWE Championship match in the same night? WWE's not going to do that. The RK Bros pose, we get a replay of RKO to Lashley. Riddle returns to the ring now and poses in the opposite corner with Orton. Lashley sees from the mat and recovers while Orton and Riddle celebrate as Raw goes off the air. And this was WWE's answer to how good All Out was. A desperate, pathetic attempt at a show. I hate this company so much sometimes, it's not even funny. I really wanted to skip this show tonight just because it wasn't going to feel even worth a damn. Like I said, I could have watched a football game, a taped football game or something, got more entertainment. Not much more entertainment, but some entertainment. Could have watched binge watched Law and Order SVU or Law and Order Criminal Intent, Rachel Law and Order for a couple episodes, probably 3, and got more entertainment than I did here. Could have watched a Japanese anime, watched a couple of those episodes, got more entertainment than I did here. Could have went out and hung out with people if I know anybody, and got more entertainment than I did out of this show. This company needs to die 1,000 deaths ASAP because this company fucking sucks so goddamn hard. They do not fucking care about their fans. Anybody who tries to say that WWE is the #1 brand in all of professional wrestling, you're fucking stupid. This is a sports entertainment company. They don't give a shit about fans. In Miami, where the hell were you tonight? The crowd for the tag team turmoil match, nobody gave a shit about it. The crowd did not give a shit about the tag team turmoil whatsoever. So, yeah, this show sucked. It's always gonna suck. And this is the thing, it's like, well, Triple H gets here, Vince McMahon is going to, like, when Vince McMahon's gone, Triple H takes over, it's gonna be much better. Honestly, like, right off the bat, absolutely not. If, like, Vince McMahon was to be gone tomorrow, Triple H came in and his team took over, and Bruce Pritchard was gone, John Laurinaitis is gone, Kevin Dunn is gone, this show will not be better right off the bat because they have a lot, and I mean a lot, to do before this company actually before this means anything. This company is just so bad. But that is your Monday Night Raw review. This fucking thing sucked. Oh, so bad. Oh, so bad. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds of the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/thefrance Club. And find me on Instagram, the France Club. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for the Fallout to All Out, which is going to be a much better show than we got tonight. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.